Good evening. I'd like to call to order the council meeting of Monday, December 18th, 2023. Can everyone please rise for the playing of the national anthem?
Oh, Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. Carton bras et porter le pays, il sait porter la croix. Ton histoire est une épopée des plus brillants exploits. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh, Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Niagara Region and Grimsby are situated on treaty land. This land is steeped in the rich history of the First Nations, such as the Hattaway-Wendoronk, the Haudenosaunee, and the Anishinaabe, including the Mississaugas of the Credit First Nation. There are many First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people from across Turtle Island that live and work in Niagara today. The Regional Municipality of Niagara and the Town of Grimsby stand with all Indigenous peoples, past and present, in promoting the wise stewardship of the lands on which we live. Are there any disclosures of pecuniary or non-pecuniary interest? Seeing none, can I get a mover and seconder to approve the agenda? Moved by Councillor Bradsey, second by Councillor Vardy. Moved by Councillor Bradsey, second by Councillor Vardy. Resolved that the December 18th, 2023 council meeting agenda be approved. All in favor? That's carried. Up next, we proudly have a presentation to award Santa Claus Parade category winners. I must say that this was certainly one of the best parades ever, if not the best parade ever, and it was just really amazing. I can't believe how many people have said how great it was, and without the volunteers we have, it would never be possible. Can I get a mover and seconder to receive the presentation? Moved by Councillor Davoli, second by Councillor Howe. All right, Trevor, we're going to do the presentations now.
Good evening, Mayor Jordan, members of council. I'm here tonight on behalf of the parade committee and on behalf of Melissa, who's our special event coordinator. She's under the weather, so I'm stepping in for tonight. As the mayor mentioned, we had a great parade this year. The weather was looking a little bit dicey, but it was mild, and we had a really, really great turnout despite the weather. And I think in my view from the parades that I've seen, in terms of the floats and the lights, it was really, really a fantastic parade, and we're really happy with the turnout. Our parade committee for this year, we had Robin Bradley as our parade chair. 31st year, Robin, every year, amazing. Amy Lupton, Ian and Andrea Cotty, Melissa Rusich, and myself. So I'm just gonna speak a little bit about the parade, and then I'll introduce, or Amy will introduce this year's winners. So about the parade, the first parade in Grimsby was held in 1958, and I have a document somewhere on my computer, and it was spurred from a Chamber of Commerce meeting. And the first parade had 27 entrants. From there, the tradition grew. It's now lasted 66 years. Originally, it was a daytime parade. However, it switched to the nighttime in the millennium, and it's remained that way ever since. The parade has now grown to 80 entries each year, and it's a well-loved community tradition. We do actually have a video that we found at the museum from 1959 from the parade, and we had it digitized. So Katie, if you want to throw that up, it's really, really cool. Thank you to the Grimsby Museum for that footage. We did actually put that together last year for our 65th year, and we had posted that on social media and got some really great responses. You know, people in the comments, I remember that's my mom, and I was there, and all those types of things. So that was pretty cool. But a lot has changed since 1959. This year, the last couple of years, we've estimated about 15,000 people are attending the Grimsby Santa Claus Parade. Our live stream was viewed 26,000 times this year. We're seeing a lot of reach that's going quite outside the community, all across Niagara, people who are watching in all kinds of places. We get data on where people are viewing from. It's quite interesting. 372 kilograms of food were collected for the GBF. There was over 40 not-for-profit entries, 24 business entries, hundreds of volunteers, and thousands of volunteer hours that go into making this parade possible. I think it's hard to kind of put your finger on exactly what it takes to put off something like the Grimsby Santa Claus Parade. And I called up our Canettes, one of our local community groups who put in a float. I said, you know, how much time do you spend putting together a float each year? And we kind of broke it down to about 90 hours of time between all the different people as part of that. And I think you take that and you put that into every single float of the over 80 entries that we have. And I think it really tells this story of so much community capacity that comes into delivering that really, really memorable event. So I think that's really great. But also the support of our business community. A lot of our entries are businesses who put in a lot of time as well, and also put in money. Parade costs are almost fully covered through community sponsorship. There's some in-kind time, obviously, through town staff and some of our resources, but in terms of hard costs, almost fully funded through our business community in Grimsby, which is really, really exciting. Just a couple of honorable mentions. Paddock Transportation in Stony Creek. They put in sometimes 5, 6, even 7 large trucks. They provide the drivers, they provide the gas, they drop them off, a week early so they can be decorated. They do that all volunteer, they don't take $1. And those are the types of in-kind things that make this parade happen. Rona, every single year, does the Santa float. We just wait for it to show up. The amount of time it takes to decorate that and use a Rona truck, and again, the gas and the people power it takes, it really is a full community effort to make it possible. And then, of course, there's our parade committee, leadership people like Robin and Amy, who've been around a really long time delivering this event, our lineup volunteers, student volunteers, our town staff, the NRP. I can tell you, I've worked with the Niagara Regional Police for years. They're not just coming to do paid duty. We get the same people who come every single year and put their heart and soul into making sure that that road closing the road for that length of time and that length of road is very difficult. They do a really great job managing that. And I did want to mention again, Melissa, who worked really hard. It was her first year as our special event coordinator doing this event. I can tell from experience that it's a lot of pressure, it's a lot of work, and she did a really great job. So congrats to her as well. So now if I can invite Mayor Jordan and our parade chair, Robin Bradley, up to the front. And Amy Lupton's going to introduce our winners this year.
Thank you. Our award for Best Church and School goes to New Life Community Church. This year's float featured scenes and characters from the Christmas classic Home Alone and even featured a cardboard cutout of Michael Jordan. Our next award goes to Best Walking Group, Niagara Dance and Fitness Studio. NDFS danced their way down Main Street in perfect step alongside a snowman. Our best commercial entry goes to Ricochet Pub and Eatery. True to the classic Christmas movies theme, Ricochet Pub and Eatery took us back to the iconic scene in National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation with a float featuring a station wagon with a tree on top and Cousin Eddie on the back. Our best nonprofit entry goes to Grimsby Town Youth Soccer Club. The soccer club's under-9 boys and under-14 girls travel teams had outsmarted the Grinch with a large float featuring a Who jail that kept the Grinch from spoiling the parade. Our crowd pleaser this year goes to West Niagara Secondary School. This was West Niagara Secondary's first parade after moving to their new high school, and the Wolf Pack did not disappoint. The float was led by a fantastic drumline and featured a full live band and many lights and decorations. Congratulations.
Going as I drive around town. Great job, Rob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. And thank you. That concludes our presentation for the parade tonight. And once again, thank you to all the volunteers, everyone who made it possible. We're looking forward to the parade again next year. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone, all the recipients and everyone involved in the parade. Without our volunteers, we couldn't have done it. Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Have a nice evening. All right, moved by Councillor DeVoli, second by Councillor Howe. Resolved that the Santa Claus Parade category winners presentation be received. All in favor? And that's carried.
Was that your hand up?
All right, up next we have Planning and Development Committee Chair's Report from December 11th, 2023. Our meeting was a little longer than average, yes. It was just over an hour, but we did have a statutory public meeting for 165 Lake Street, and there was a couple delegations for that, and we learned quite a bit about what was going to be put in there, and it was received fairly well. And the other things were site-specific amendments for 260 Main Street East and 264 Main Street East. That's helping a business to expand at the corner of Bartlett and Main Street East. And now they have enough parking spots so they can actually fully use their building. And that was pretty much everything. Move next to Councillor DeVoli with the Finance Committee report of December 14th, 2023.
Thank you, Mayor Jordan. The Finance Committee met just recently, last Thursday on December 14th. And so I will take you to beyond the approval of the agenda and minutes. And the first main order of business was to receive a presentation from Grant Thornton. That's the CPA firm that are the auditors of the town. And they presented their audit plan, answered many questions from us. And so this evening, the Finance Committee is recommending that Council approve the 2023 audit plan. In addition to that, the whistleblower policy that the town has is a key component of managing risk, including audit risk within our organization. And the committee has asked for more information on the policy and so on. And so that's the second part there, that in January, we will do a review and have a full discussion on the whistleblower policy. Following that, we reviewed the third quarter financial update, which really covers January 1st to September 30th, asked a number of questions of where we stood in all of that. And at the end of that, in addition to actually receiving it as information, we also asked staff to bring back more information to us on the change in the wastewater and tax levy as to what the dollar impact will be. And there are many variables in that calculation and from the plan to actual, but we will leave that in our finance staff's good hands to come back with a report on that to us. Also on the agenda was the approval of the interim tax levy, and that is very much sort of something provided within the Municipal Act as how it is done. But in addition to that, there were some questions about the regional transit levy, because that's part of the calculation as to how the interim tax levy is calculated. And the committee is asking for some more information from the regional transit, things like ridership, billing information, and so on. And I realize the wording of the minutes just needs to be clarified. The committee asked if it could be done on the calendar year basis, but failing that, the committee would be more than happy to at least have an analysis with some more statistics and demographics if it could be done on a test basis of choosing 1 month or something like that would be fine as well. So the committee recommends the approval of the 2024 interim tax levy, and the installment dates, and just to remind everybody watching, will be March 1st and May 3rd, 2024. The next item on the agenda was to approve a report that allows our town to borrow money for current expenditures. We'll call it maybe a temporary arrangement, one of those sort of backup just-in-case plans. But basically, we approved the treasurer to go out, and we are recommending to council that there be a bylaw authorizing temporary borrowing arrangements for $13.8 million, and you will see that later on the agenda tonight as well. The next item after that was a review of our tax arrears update and an explanation of our arrears collection strategies. And I am happy to report, as I do call this the canary in the coal mine, but happy to report that our statistics are extremely good. The amount of outstanding taxes receivable is well within our historical receivables being outstanding and truly, I'm going to say, much better than many of our neighboring municipalities as well. In addition to that, our treasurer just provided a verbal update on the 2024 budget process. And the last item that we are asking for approval is that the Finance Committee traditionally always meets on the third Thursday, but because of our IT department and when they need to shut down the server and so on to make their updates, unfortunately, it's not possible to hold that. And so there is an entire schedule, but we're asking that our meetings be switched from the current draft of the last Wednesday that was proposed to council a month or so ago, and that it be the fourth Thursday of every month. And I believe that just means switching between planning and finance, sort of doing a switch that way. So the committee, I'm going to say almost unanimously, Thursday was much better for everyone, and they wanted to stick with it. So hopefully the planning committee is okay with switching their second meeting of every month to the Wednesday. And that concludes my report, unless someone has any questions.
Councillor DeFlavio.
Thanks, Your Worship. I just wanted to note on the bylaw 23-106, I'm sure it was just an error because it was probably used from a previous one, but it says, in the second paragraph, it says, to borrow from time to time sums not exceeding $12 million. And then in brackets, it says $13,800,000. So I know what's a couple $1 million amongst friends, but it's probably just an error that was done in typing and then was never corrected. So I want to make sure that the word matched the numbers on there, that's all.
Yeah, so that's the difference between 12, last year was 12 million, and our assessments are up to 13.8. So that's the difference. All right, seeing no further questions, up next we have the adoption of the previous minutes. Can I get a mover and seconder to approve? Councillor Howe. Councillor Vardy. Moved by Councillor Howe, second by Councillor Vardy. Resolve the following minutes be approved. Council, December 4th, 2023. Special Council, December 5th, 2023. Planning and Development Committee, December 11th, 2023. Finance Committee, December 14th, 2023. Any discussion? Councillor DeVoley?
Yes, I just wanted to ask about process, because one of the resolutions within finance that had to do with the request for more information on the transit levy, can we just approve it with the amendment to the wording of that, just to clarify that?
So yeah, that's a housekeeping, so the clerks informed me that. How about that? All right, read the resolution again. Moved by Councillor Howe, second by Councillor Vardy. Resolved that the following minutes be approved. Council, December 4th, 2023. Special Council, December 5th, 2023. Planning and Development Committee, December 11th, 2023. Finance Committee, December 14th, 2023. All in favor? That's carried. All right, can I get mover and seconder to receive the board minutes? Moved by Councillor DeFlavio, and seconder, Counselor Howe. Moved by Counselor DeFlavio, second by Counselor Howe. Resolved that the following minutes be received. Grimsby Public Library Board, October 18th, 2023. Grimsby Public Library, November 8th, 2023. Committee of Adjustment, November 21st, 2023. All in favor? That's carried. All right. Before we get to our regular announcements, I'm going to have the regional counselor come up for her report. Good evening, Michelle.
Good evening, Mayor Jordan, and thank you for having me here today. I think everybody here got a copy of my report. I sent it through last night, and some of you may have more than one copy because for some reason, some of you were liked by my computer and some of you weren't, so I had to try everybody individually. So I hope everybody got a copy. So what I wanted to do today is bring you up to date. We haven't had many things to actually report over the last few weeks because for the last 12 weeks we've been working on a budget, which finally concluded last Thursday, and nobody's upset about that. I wanted to bring forth just a few numbers. The general levy, which supports operations, which includes agencies, boards, commissions, and the Niagara Regional Police, came in at 3.72%. There was 1.5% for infrastructure, and most of that is going to be directed to renewing existing infrastructure. And the last part of that budget was 1.8%, which is still pertaining to the financial impacts of Bill 23. So the grand total for this year was 7.02%. This was a budget that took all of the 12 weeks to come up with. We had to cut to the bare bones. I hope we haven't cut too much. We always worry about when you have to start looking at some of the cuts that were made that you didn't cut too deep. But it was what council agreed to, and it was passed. I heard recently, or through this, that there was a question about transit, so I'm going to skip water and wastewater and go right into transit. Grimsby is a big user of the on-demand system. In fact, we went up 19.9% this year in service calls. And the Transit Commission levy is based on use, so they're predicting 8,400 hours this year. And there's also a portion which is the regional assessment allocation, which has always been there, but you've never seen it because it was only this past year that they took that out of your regular regional budget and made it a separate budget. So that little allocation, well, not so little allocation, as well as your use, is what will make up your transit portion of your your tax bill. Water and wastewater. Water went up 4 cents per household per day. So now you can expect to see your bill be $2 per household per day for the term of your water bill, which I believe is every 3 months. Somebody mentioned to me that they were 4 months. Okay. Somebody mentioned to me that their bill seemed extremely high. Apparently, there's still a few water meters out there that aren't functioning right. So if your average is coming up to a lot more than $2 per day per household, get it checked here at the town. The residential blue box and gray box is changing January 1st. In fact, we have a few changes for January 1st. It should be seamless. You should see nothing. The blue box and gray box still goes out the same day, gets picked up at the same time, and there's no change that's visible to you. The region of Niagara will still be picking up your regular household garbage on an every other week basis. Your organics are picked up every week. You have large items or branches or clippings, they get picked up as well on a weekly basis. So nothing changes. The change is that you're no longer being charged for your gray and your blue box to be picked up. It will now be under a new provincial policy, which means somebody else is paying for it. It's the actual producer of the product that will be paying for that to be picked up for you. I've heard, and I'm sure several of you have, some concerns about the speed cameras and the red light cameras, and I really want to get that cleared up for you. Preparations are underway for those cameras to be moved, and Grimsby's is coming in. There are warning signs already telling you they're coming. They will be operational January 8th. The speed camera, it covers the area from Bartlett until to Nels Road, and it's for the Park Elementary School. The concern is Park Elementary School is now considered one of the community safety zones. The speed limit in that area is now 40 kilometers an hour during school periods. So during the school periods, which of course will be considered from 7 till 5, if you are driving faster than 40 kilometers an hour on Monday to Friday, from September to June, you will get tagged. Outside those hours, it will be 50 kilometers an hour. So there was a concern that why are we being penalized for going faster than 40 kilometers an hour outside of school times? That's not the case in Grimsby. From 7 till 5, Monday to Friday, from September till June, that's when the 40 kilometers an hour is going to be in effect. The other one that's coming, and Grimsby lucks out and we get one of these too, is the red light camera. There are 10 of them being filled out in the region. Ours is going to be at the corner of Christie and the South Service Road. The red light camera will issue a ticket if you proceed through the intersection when the light is turned red. If you pass the stop line after the light has turned red, you're going to get a ticket. If you're in the intersection when it turns red, you will not. So just to clarify, because there's been a lot of concerns and questions about those two things, so that should make it a little easier for people. Now for some good news. One of the big budget items this year was also the police. The police is always a big budget. So they had to sharpen their pencils a little bit, but the one thing that they absolutely left on their budget for this year is new police officers for Grimsby. There are going to be 20 new officers hired from the region, 8 of which will be used to fill in for leaves such as maternity or paternity leaves, WSIB, or even PTSD leaves. The other 12, one will be going to Wainfleet, one to Pelham, and the remainder will be coming to Grimsby. And I don't think anybody in this room believes that we have too many police officers and can't use an extra 10. The program will be divided into 2 periods. The first one will be the 1st of July, and the second will be September 1st. Now for some more good news. The province is going to be investing $700,000 over the next 3 years for the Niagara Regional Police Services to combat and prevent auto thefts in Niagara. The new grant program is designed to support new and enhanced crime-fighting measures that focus on prevention, detection, analysis, and enforcement. And that's the end of my good news. Any questions? And I would be happy to, oh dear.
Councillor Vardy.
I should have just left it at that. Yes.
Okay, thank you, through you, Mr. Mayor. I have a few. So one thing that I'd like to know, for the speed camera that goes during school hours, will there be any kind of sign in advance of entering that, like a flashing light that says, you know, speed camera in effect or something, that so it doesn't sneak up on people?
It may sneak up on you, but the signs have been up for 3 months.
No, I mean,
You made a flashing sign.
I mean a sign that will warn drivers that they need not go 41 because they'll get a big ticket. So, I mean, I don't think it's fair to not advise people that they're entering this zone, that there should be something to draw their attention to the speed limit, a flashing sign. And the reason I say that, if the purpose of this is to make people slow down, then we got to help them slow down, right? So if the purpose of this is just to be a cash grab, then, you know, we'll do well if we don't advise people. And I think that The purpose of this is safety, so we need to advise, draw people's attention to this, because it's very easy to go 41, so, and if that's the case, you'll get a ticket, and it'll be a big ticket, and there's always like a plus minus statistical amount of change as your car, you think it's going 40 and it's going 41 and you're going to get a whopping ticket. So I really think that we need to have something that warns people that they are entering this zone and they will be ticketed. So that's one thing. So,
Can I answer them one at a time?
yep.
Okay. I think your idea of having some kind of flashing warning is a good one, because there's only 3 areas in Niagara that have now been declared community safety zones where the speed limit has dropped to 40. Grimsby, of course, being one. Now, the others may have already been 40, but these ones are now dropping to 40. And I confess that I don't know what plans are in place to warn people about the lower speed, but it is something I'll check into, and I will get back to you about that.
Okay, thank you. If you could put in a request for that. The other thing is, it's great that I'm really happy about police, terrific. We've been under-resourced for quite a while, and I've never felt like we were getting our fair share, so I'm very happy about that. We're getting, there's money in the budget for infrastructure to upgrade existing infrastructure. Highway 8 going west definitely needs attention. So I want to make sure that that's on the list of priorities at the regional level, because it's a regional road.
We have a plan actually in place, Councillor Vardy, that will go right from the Beamsville border right through to Winona. Each section is in a yearly piece, and that one is going to be around the same time that Casablanca is done. How far forward it'll go, how far west it will go at the same time Casablanca is done, I'm not sure, but eventually it will head towards Winona.
I'm not sure what you mean by Casablanca being done.
When Casablanca's road is being done, it's being done in 3 sections. So Casablanca from Winston Road to the
Okay.
railway tracks is section 1.
Okay.
Okay, so once
All right.
Casablanca is done, that's when that section will be done. It won't be for a couple of years, and you're absolutely right. It wasn't done well when they changed it a few years ago, because they knew they were going to be redoing it. When they redo it, it will also be urbanized with turning lanes, bicycle lanes, and sidewalks.
All right, thank you very much. I think that's everything I had. Oh, I'm going to ask you about water. We pay $2 a day for water. That's $730 a year. That seems really high.
And the infrastructure for your clean drinking water is really quite expensive as well. And of course, one of the things that's happening in Grimsby is the Baker Road and the clean water is going to be expanded in the next little while. $2 a day is really not very expensive for clean water. Your wastewater is a bit more. It went up by 6%, and I don't have a per household because it's all based on use. So the region sells to the town of Grimsby the service. Grimsby collects that from ratepayers, and it's all based on use. So it's hard for me to tell you exactly, but it works out to about $2 a day per household.
Okay. Well, we pay tax per household, so I'm just thinking that it just seems high to me. That's all. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Councillor DeVoley, then Councillor DeFlavio.
Mayor Jordan, my question is for Councillor Seaborn as well, and has to do with the residential blue and gray box program. So you had spoken earlier that Circular Materials is taking over the responsibility, and it is now going to be a provincial function, is that correct? Meaning the province will be paying for it, and it won't be an expenditure of the region of Niagara? Do I understand that correctly?
I probably made that a little hard to understand. It's the province of Ontario told producers of the material that gets put in your gray and your blue box that they are now responsible for taking care of it once it's been used. So the people that are making the plastics and making the cardboard and making the the paper, they're the ones that are actually paying for it. So that portion of your waste material is no longer on your taxes. You're still going to pay for your regular household and all the other stuff, but that portion is no longer part of your waste products, part of the taxes.
Thank you. That was what I was trying to make sure I understood. And would you happen to know how much of a reduction in expenses it then is for the region of Niagara by having the producers now take on that cost?
I knew somebody was going to ask that because I thought this is so many numbers in here. If I leave a couple of them out, somebody is going to figure that out. I apologize, no, I don't have it, but I will get it for you and I will send it to you later this evening.
Councillor DeFlavio.
Thank you, Your Worship, through you. So the Main Street East Community Safety Zone already has signage, it has flashing signs already. Now, I don't know if those signs are just for the crosswalk, but there are flashing signs that say 40 kilometers an hour when sign flashing. So it might just be a matter of, because if you go through, for example, Winona near Immaculate Heart School during regular school hours, the light is flashing and it's 50 kilometers an hour. Any other time of day, it's 70 there. So it might be a matter of just changing the timing on those flashing lights on Main Street, because there already are flashing lights in both directions, just after Baker Road coming from the west, and then just after Park Road coming from the east. So they're there. I don't know if it's a timing thing, but they're already there, and it's pretty well signed. So I think we're good there. If people want to speed through a school zone, you know, it's hard to be sympathetic. So hopefully none of my kids are the ones getting the tickets there. I've already warned them.
I actually noticed a few extra cars in your driveway today, so I figured you probably had some young drivers at your house.
And through you, Mayor, the tickets do go on the car, not to the driver, so it's a warning to, I already told my kids they're going to be keeping track of what time of day they're driving.
Councillor Bradzi.
Thank you, Chair. Through you. With the 40-kilometer school zone, I know we have it in front of Park too, but wouldn't it also kind of make sense to put it in front of Nell's School on the same road as well? Just kind of my thoughts. But my main question I wanted to ask was about the gray and blue bins. So they're no longer available at the Peach King Center. So through GFL, is it simply just, do they mail it to your house, or is there another pickup location, or how much do they cost now, or are they still free?
Great questions. You can still get your green bin and your household organics from Peach King. It's just the blue and the gray box, and all I can find, even online, is to call this number or go through an email. Again, it's not something that they've told us exactly where to get, and again, I will provide you with that information. It should be local. You're not going to have to call ahead, and it'll be the same price as what you're paying right now. And if you're a new resident, there will be no charge whatsoever.
Councillor Howe.
Thank you, through you, Chair. Did any capital projects, involved with Grimsby that are on or were on any of the projections, any that didn't make the cut?
My understanding is 11 projects throughout the region did get postponed. They haven't told us which ones they are yet, but I have a meeting with transportation shortly after the new year, so we should be able to work it out. But most of them have already got funds applied to them. It might be the ones that are a little later. But from what I understand, anything that's in the next 3 years is going to go ahead.
All right, seeing no further questions, thank you very much for your exhaustive report, Councillor Seymour.
Thanks, Mayor Jordan. And can I take this opportunity to wish everybody a happy Christmas and a happy New Year? Thank you.
Absolutely, back at you. Any other councillors with announcements? I have a couple. I made it to Nellis Manor twice this week. On Thursday, hosted MPP Mike Ford and MPP Sam Oosterhoff for a tour of Nellis Manor. Mike Ford had not been to the Manor or Grimsby, as far as I know. And he was really impressed with that 1790 structure that we have there. It's just it's a real gem, and it's something that the provincial government, with their renewed commitment to heritage, really should take a look at making us a pilot project, and we're certainly working with the provincial government to get Nellis Manor as a pilot project. And was back there again on Saturday for, again, a fireside evening with actually carol singing. And it was quite a lot of fun. And it really makes you think that carol singing's been going on in that manor for over 200 years. So when you think of it that way, it's quite amazing. And I just wanted to thank Bev Jarvis, who had actually the hymn or carol books that she had copies enough for everyone there, and there were over 50 people there. So it was quite a nice event. And seeing no other announcements from council, we'll move to resolutions. Next, we have a resolution from Councillor Howe on the Niagara Region Escarpment Crossing Project. Councillor Howe has moved it, and can I have a seconder? Councillor Bradsey. Moved by Councillor Howe, second by Councillor Bradsey. Whereas connectivity has been a consideration in the Niagara region for over 30 years, and whereas the Niagara Escarpment Crossing Project has been identified as a potential solution in the Niagara Escarpment Crossing Master Plan to improve connectivity between the north and south regions of West Niagara, and whereas there are documented safety concerns with the current existing crossings, such as steep slopes, speeding, inconsistent and under-maintained road signage and markings. And whereas the town of Grimsby and the town of Lincoln see a heavy volume of truck traffic and narrow laneways, and whereas the town of Grimsby, the town of Lincoln, and the township of West Lincoln have collectively advocated for the Niagara Escarpment Crossing Project at the 2023 AMO conference, and whereas the new proposed crossing is necessary to the local economy, providing a route to facilitate the movement of goods, people, and growth, and whereas the terms of reference process is not projected to be completed by the Niagara region until the spring of 2024, with review and approval by the Minister of Environment, Conservation and Parks projected for the fall of 2024. This is a process that must be completed prior to the commencement of the environmental assessment. Therefore, be it resolved that Council direct the Mayor and/or the CAO to the necessity of expediting the terms of reference development process to the Niagara region so the environmental assessment can be started in a timely manner. And be it further resolved that this resolution be circulated to Niagara West MPP Sam Oosterhoff. All in favor? And that's carried. Can I get a mover and seconder to receive the multi-year accessibility plan progress report from the Joint Accessibility Advisory Committee? Councillor Vardy and Councillor Howe. Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor Howe. Resolved that the 2022 to 2026 multi-year accessibility plan progress report be received. All in favor? That's carried. Can I get a mover and seconder to pass the bylaws? Councillor Vardy, Councillor Davoli. Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor DeBoy. Resolved that the League begin to introduce bylaws 23-104 to 23-107, inclusive, and that same be read a first time, considered, and passed. All in favor? That's carried. Next meeting of council is scheduled for January 15th, 2024 at 6:30 PM. And now we're going to move into closed session. So everyone, good evening. We'll be back out after the close. Can I get a mover and seconder to move into closed session to discuss the cost of living adjustment negotiation update? Councillor Vardy, Councillor Bradzi. Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor Bradzi. Resolved that council meet in closed session under Section 2392D of the Municipal Act, where a closed meeting is held if the subject matter being considered pertains to labor relations or employee negotiations. All in favor to go into closed? That's carried. We're now moving into closed. All right, welcome back, everyone. We're now back in open session. Can I get a mover and seconder to approve the direction provided and closed? Councillor DeVoley and Councillor Howe. Moved by Councillor DeVoley, second by Councillor Howe. Resolved that the direction provided in closed session regarding the cost of living negotiation be approved. All in favor? That's carried. All right, can I get a mover and seconder for the confirming bylaw? Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor Bradsey. Moved by Councillor Vardy, second by Councillor Bradsey. Resolved that leave be given to introduce bylaw 23-108 and that same be read a first time, considered and passed. All in favor? And that's carried. Meeting is adjourned. Merry Christmas and good night, everyone, and happy holidays, and we'll see everyone next year. Thank you. Have a great evening.